Winter sports are upon us here in Gambier, which means it's time for some hoops here on the Kenyon Sports Connection, and we are joined today by the head coach of men's basketball, Coach Priest. First off, thank you for taking the time out of your day to come in and talk.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
So last year you guys went 11-15, and you lose your top two scorers in Brian Comey and Tim Connolly. Yeah. How do you adjust to replace that offense that you're going to be missing a little bit on the court?
Sure. Well, we'll find out. I guess Tim made a lot. Of course, Brian did too, but Tim made a lot of plays with the ball in his hands. Made a lot of things happen. He was leading scorer in the league, and I think maybe third in assists, second or third in assists. So did a lot of things with the ball in his hands. So we'll try and find a way where we can move the ball around, cultivate different people. We'll have to kind of develop a go-to guy. At the second half of the year, we always knew kind of who it was going to be. And Brian developed into a guy that could score around the basket and low post for us. So trying to find out who that guy is. So we're kind of trying to spread it around a little bit and kind of see. We have a couple guys that are starting to emerge, but see who emerges. I don't suspect we'll do it with one guy or one or two guys to start, but kind of a conglomeration of guys.
So those two players that we're talking about in Comey and Connolly, also your leaders on the court, not in terms of scoring, but just of the team. Who needs to step up in your eyes this year to really carry that flag?
Yeah, well, we lost, obviously those guys, and Tyler Kimball was a big leader for us. Tyler was kind of a Division III success story. Hung in there, never quit, and kept working at it and helped us win some games. And he was able to provide leadership, kind of his example of perseverance. So all those guys had a different story and a different role. But I think we've always been able to kind of cultivate leadership, starting back to like Brian and Julian Ikena, and then John Bray and Cooper and Connor. Jonathan Amador kind of took it from there. So we've always kind of been able to cultivate it. So, we only have two seniors this year. Ethan Shapiro's done a good job, but he's going to need a little bit of help. And we have five juniors now. So I think each of those guys kind of in their own way will have to kind of do their thing. And Matt Schiffrin started a lot of games as a freshman. So, he's a sophomore. He's kind of led our team from on-court perspective, so I think we'll count on that a little bit too.
So you mentioned Matt Schiffrin, started as a point guard freshman year. That's a big thing to ask of a kid. What kind of progress do you see him needing to make this year?
Well, he's a tough guy, so that part didn't really bother him. But he was a little bit of an unknown quantity last year, so now I'm sure he'll be guarded closer and kind of get another team's top defensive guy sometimes. And hopefully he can play the two for us a little bit. He played almost exclusively at the one, but he shot really high percentage. He shot high percentage in our two scrimmages too, but from the three he was, and what his overall numbers were, but were very good. So we'll probably try and play him a little bit at the two. So he's got to kind of expand his game and know he'll be a little bit more of a marked guy.
So the two scrimmages you've played to this point, in your eyes as the coach, what did you see in those that you liked and didn't like, and what tweaks do you see yourself making?
Yeah, so two totally different situations for us, playing a Division I team and playing a Division III team. So we had good things in both ones. Particularly the first one, we tried to play a lot of guys. So we're still trying to figure out who our guys are. We maybe have 5 or 6 guys we're settled on, but who those other 3 or 4 are. So both of them, particularly the first one, we played 13 or 14 guys. So that was kind of the biggest thing: who can kind of play together and what combinations of guys. So I do think we have a lot of guys and do a lot of different things. So we think our junior class has matured a little bit, so we saw progress there and progress from some of the young guys too.
So young guys and the fan base always like to see the new faces on the team. What can you tell us about this freshman class and how you expect them to impact the game?
Yeah, well, we have 8 guys, and we think they all can play a little bit. They can't all play immediately. That's just kind of how it is, and we've always been able. As we talked about, like cultivating leadership, we've cultivated guys that have progressed through the years. I mentioned some of those guys. Cooper, Connor, John Bray were guys that got better as they went on, as the years went on. Conley was a real Division III success story who played very little as a freshman, a little bit as a sophomore, was leading scorer in the league as a senior. So some of those guys will have to do that path. Some other guys will have to play right away. I think tonight we'll probably play, 3 or 4 of them will play fairly significant minutes for us. So we have a little bit of size, we have a little bit of point guard play, and we have a little bit of play on the wing too. And I think we had a few guys that can shoot it, which we needed. So we're excited about it.
So you mentioned tonight you're on the road at Muskingum, and it starts a 3-game road swing to start the regular season before you come home to Tomsic here. What do you guys need to do, not only tonight, but in those 3 games to start the season off on the right foot?
Yeah, well, 3 good tests for us, 3 good Division III teams that will, I think, do well in their league. Muskingum first, new coach. It's in his 2nd year. So he's done a real good job kind of putting his stamp of toughness on him and what his identity is. So pretty athletic team. And then we'll play Tryon and Albion, which have both been 3rd or 4th in the league last year, picked 3rd and 4th in their league this year. So I think they're all kind of different challenges. But for us, it's kind of establishing what our identity is, how are we going to play, what are we going to do well, can we guard the ball pretty well, can we move the ball, can we learn to share the ball as a team. I think those are the biggest things regardless of those three guys. So all three of those teams will kind of be different challenges.
All right, Coach. Well, once again, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks.
For all the fans out there, tonight the Lords are at Muskingum. It starts at 7 p.m. You can follow the live stats on athletics.kenyon.edu for not only that, but the other 2 games on the road before the Lords come back here to Tomsic. For the head coach, I'm Matthew Ruskin. Thanks for joining us.